For years, people have argued about who the greatest footballer truly is. Some say Messi, some say Maradona. But to those who watch the game in its purest form, Zidane was art itself. He didn't need pace. He didn't need tricks. He just needed the ball and a little space. Because when the ball found Zidane, the world slowed down to watch. This is the story of Zinedine Zidane, the greatest playmaker of all time. Born in the dusty streets of La Castellane, Marseille, on June 23, 1972, Zinedine Yazid Zidane was not born into privilege. He was born into struggle. His parents were Algerian immigrants who worked long, hard hours just to make ends meet. His father, Smail, was a warehouse worker. His mother, Malika, was a homemaker. They lived in a cramped apartment, 5 children, 1 dream. And that dream was football. At age 5, Zidane found a thing that made him feel alive, a ball on the streets of La Castellane. He'd play for hours, barefoot with his friends. The concrete bruised his feet, but it sharpened his touch. That's where the genius began. Not in some academy, not on grass, but on the cold, hard pavement of Marseille. He joined his first club, US St. Henri, at 10. Then so Septimes Les Valens, where his talent became impossible to ignore. At 14, scouts from Can spotted him. They saw something different, the calm, the technique, the control. Zidane left his home for the first time, a teenager moving to the south coast of France. He cried every night, for weeks. But football was his language now, and every touch spoke louder than words. He debuted for Can first team in 1989, a shy, elegant 17-year-old. It didn't take long before people realized they were watching someone special. One of his first mentors, Jean Veraud, told him, "One day, you will be the best player in the world." Zidane didn't reply. He just nodded and kept playing. At Cannes, he grew. At Bordeaux, he evolved. But it was at Juventus that the world finally met the artist in full color. In 1996, Juventus signed him for £3.2 million, a gamble at the time. But for Juve, it was destiny. Zidane was stepping into a side that had just won the Champions League, a team built on discipline, power, and tactical rigidity. He brought them something else, beauty. Under Marcello Lippi, Zidane became the heart of a machine that crushed Europe. He won 2 Serie A titles, the Intercontinental Cup, and reached 2 Champions League finals. He wasn't just winning, he was redefining elegance. The way he controlled the ball with his soul, the way he turned with that famous pirouette, La Roulette, the way he could glide past players without seeming to run. Andrea Pirlo once said, "To Zidane, the ball obeyed." But beneath that grace was fire. Zidane had temper, a storm that could erupt in seconds. Yellow cards followed him everywhere. Even then, he was complex, a mix of peace and rage. By 1998, he was ready for the world. And the world was ready for him. France, home soil, World Cup, a nation divided, socially, politically, racially. But football had a way of bringing them together. Zidane was France's hope. But his tournament started rough. 2 yellow cards in the group stage. A red card against Saudi Arabia. Suspended. Critics called him overrated, said he lacked discipline. But legends don't panic, they wait for their moment. That moment came on July 12, 1998. World Cup Final. France versus Brazil. The defending champions versus the dreamers. Everyone expected Ronaldo. But that night belonged to Zidane. 2 headers, both from corners, 2 goals that silenced a nation's doubts. A third from Petit sealed it, but the damage was done. France 3, Brazil 0. Champions of the world. Zidane lifted the trophy. The kid from Marseille had just united France. They painted murals of him. They named streets after him. For a boy who once played barefoot on concrete, this was divine. The world now knew. Zidane wasn't just a player. He was poetry. After the World Cup, he became a global icon. FIFA World Player of the Year in 1998, again in 2000, and again in 2003. But before that third came something magical, €2,000. France entered the tournament as world champions, and Zidane was in a trance. He didn't just play football, he dictated it. His control, his vision, his calm, unmatched. Against Spain, he scored a free kick of surgical precision. Against Portugal, he sent France to the final with an ice-cold golden goal penalty. In the final, they beat Italy. France had done the double World Cup and Euros. Zidane was at the center of it all. When asked how he made the game look so easy, he said simply, "I play the game the way it should be played." But football changes, and so did Zidane's path. In 2001, Juventus received a world record offer, 77.5 million euros, from Real Madrid. Zidane became the most expensive player in history. Galactico. He joined a team of gods, Figo, Raul, Ronaldo, Beckham. But even among stars, Zidane glowed differently. He didn't shout. He didn't boast. He led through silence and brilliance. The highlight? The 2002 Champions League final in Glasgow. Real Madrid versus Bayer Leverkusen. The score, 1-1. It's the 45th minute. A looping cross from Roberto Carlos. Zidane adjusts his body, left foot raised, eyes fixed on the ball. Then bang! A left-footed volley that seemed to stop time. It flew, curved, kissed the underside of the bar and went in. One of the greatest goals ever scored. A masterpiece. Zidane walked away calmly, no wild celebration. Just a quiet nod, like an artist admiring his own work. Madrid won, and the legend grew. He would go on to win La Liga, UEFA Super Cups, Intercontinental Cups, and hearts all over the world. But time waits for no one. By 2006, Zidane had announced that the World Cup in Germany would be his last dance. He was 34. Slower, calmer, but wiser. France started poorly. Critics said he was finished. But Zidane wasn't done writing his story yet. Round of 16. Spain. France win 3-1. Zidane scores the final goal, cool, calm, poetic. Quarterfinal. Brazil. The champions. The team of stars, Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Kaká. But Zidane, he was the conductor. He controlled everything. Every pass. Every tempo. It was like watching a man possessed by genius. France won 1-0, and Zidane was named man of the match. Semi-final. Portugal. Zidane, again, with ice in his veins, another penalty. France to the final. One last game. One last chance. Italy versus France. Berlin. July 9, 2006. 7 minutes in. Penalty for France. Zidane steps up. Panenka. Off the crossbar. In. The audacity. The courage. The absolute calm. But fate is cruel. 110th minute. A provocation. A whisper. Marco Materazzi says something. Zidane turns. And then the headbutt that shook the world. A red card in his final match. His last act as a player. Violent, shocking, unforgettable. France would lose on penalties. And Zidane would walk past the World Cup. He could have lifted one last time. It was tragedy. It was beauty. It was Zidane. Because even in disgrace, he remained human. Flawed. Passionate. Real. He later said, "I'm not proud of it, but it's part of me." And that's the thing about him. He never pretended to be perfect. He just played and felt. After retirement, Zidane disappeared, quietly. No press tours. No fanfare. Just silence. But Real Madrid knew. Genius never really retires. In 2014, he returned. As a coach. At first, critics doubted him. Said he was too calm. Too quiet, too inexperienced. But then, history repeated itself. In 2016, he led Real Madrid to the Champions League title, his first as a manager. In 2017, he won it again. And again in 2018. 3 in a row. Something no manager had done since the 1970s. He won La Liga, Super Cups, Club World Cups, 11 trophies in less than 3 years. And he did it his way. Composed, respectful, relentless. Cristiano Ronaldo once said, "When Zidane speaks, you listen, because he's Zidane." That's power, not noise, not arrogance, presence. Zidane became the bridge between generations, from player to legend, from legend to leader. He left Madrid in 2018, came back in 2019, won more, then left again. Because Zidane never stayed for the fame. He stayed for the feeling. Today, people still debate who the greatest is, but watch Zidane's highlights, really watch them. The touch, the control, the mind. He didn't just assist goals, he created meaning. He didn't just play football, he translated emotion. To watch Zidane was to understand grace under pressure, to learn that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it glides, and maybe that's why his name still echoes, softly yet powerfully, across time. Because every era needs its magician, and ours had Zidane, a boy from Marseille who rose to become football's ultimate artist. He taught us that beauty could win games, that elegance could destroy defenses, that passion could create poetry, and that greatness doesn't have to scream. It can simply walk with its head held high and a ball at its feet. Zinedine Zidane, the artist, the warrior, the greatest playmaker of all time. Because when the game ends and the noise fades, the only thing that remains is the way he made us feel. Subscribe to Last Minute FC channel for more powerful football stories.